Hello, I'm Jenny McFarland with Tucson Bird Alliance, formerly known as Tucson Audubon Society, and we're going to talk about the Tucson Bird Count. So the Tucson Bird Count is a long-running community science project that began in 2001 at the University of Arizona. It came over to Tucson Audubon Society about 2012, and I've been coordinating it ever since. It's a large-scale urban bird count that focuses on the Tucson Valley and specifically urban birds. And it's a really great long-running project with a very interesting growing data set, since how it works is someone who volunteers for the count needs to have the ability to identify both by sight and sound the most common birds of the Tucson Valley, and then quickly figure out the more rare birds of the Tucson Valley. And folks who volunteer for the count will sign up for a route, and we have them all over the Tucson Valley. They're throughout different parts of urban Tucson, and they go into some of the national park lands or more natural lands around Tucson, which serves as a bit of a control to compare natural habitat to urban habitat. So there'll be a map showing the available routes in the Tucson area, and you pick a route that's convenient or interesting to you, and that route will be approximately 10 to a dozen point count locations that are all assigned the same route number. And you go to each one of those on the morning of your choice between April 15 and May 15. So there's quite a lot of flexibility on when you do the count. It's pretty sort of self-driven. And you go to, let's say, the first point on your route, and you get there. You have your way to log the birds, whether it be a paper data form or using the eBird app. We are doing it through eBird now if people like. And you get to the point, you stand there, and for 5 minutes you stay on that location and record all the birds that you both see and hear on that data form or onto the eBird list. And part of the value of the Tucson Bird Count is the fact that these locations have stayed the same or very close to the same for over 20 years now. So we can really track how species have changed over time in response to many factors, but very significantly to changes in urbanization. So you get approximately a dozen points that you're supposed to survey for this in the spring period of April 15 to May 15, and they do not have to be done on the same morning. If you want to split it up and do, this cluster one morning and then another cluster a different morning, that's totally fine. That's no problem at all. That's great. You don't have to do them in the numerical order that they're assigned. There's quite a lot of flexibility, but the main thing is that you stand on that exact survey point for exactly 5 minutes and record all the birds that you see and hear, and then either enter it through eBird, which we have a protocol for, or directly into our website. And right now I'm here at the Mason Center, and this is on Northwest Tucson, and this is actually a Tucson Bird count area. We do a count through here. And another important detail that's worth mentioning is that we have most of our count routes are what we call spring routes, and those are the ones that start with 100, the 100 sequence. So that'd be like Route 160, 155. And all the ones that start in the 100 sequence are the spring routes, and those are done once a year. Every spring, those are counted. But a subset of our survey routes are what we call park routes, and those are in the 500 subset, and those are done quarterly. So the Mason Center one here is a quarterly route, so it's counted a bit more. So just be aware if you're signing up for a route, and I do make this point frequently in the materials for new counters, but if you are signing up for a 500 route, that is supposed to be done quarterly or as close to quarterly as we can achieve, just to get a little more data for these more established areas. Places like the Mason Center, most of them are parks. And then the 100 sequence route names are just the one time in the spring counts. So Tucson Bird Count, it's a great count. It's pretty convenient that it's right here in urban Tucson, but it's a big valley though, so we got all sorts of counts, and many of the routes will have points that are a bit more natural, and then some points that are very, very urban. And even if you're getting no birds on a point or just a few pigeons, that is incredibly important data. It helps us figure out, just how much urbanization impacts certain bird species. And sometimes we find that we get patches of habitat within densely urban Tucson that have a lot of native plants, and you get a lot of birds. So that's the kind of thing we're trying to figure out. And the ultimate goal of the count is to try and determine where are the best places in urban Tucson for birds, and then what can we do to make more of Tucson look like that. So this is a scientific project, but it always has had conservation goals of trying to encourage the planting of natives or other features that the data shows us are really important to birds. So like, for instance, brush piles and cover are very important to Gambel's quail. So if people put those in their properties or yards, you are creating better habitat for Gambel's quail. So that is really the main point of the count. So it has a long history. It has a great motive behind it, which has always been reconciliation ecology. And I hope you'll join us for the Tucson Bird Count. Thank you.